We're down here in the cellar. We've been working for a couple of days on some of the post holes and other soil stains that we've seen cutting through the occupation layer of the cellar. And so we're down in the entire cellar to the working surface that the colonists would have been on top of while they were working down here in the cellar. And I was talking to Dr. Kelso, who was down here yesterday, and we were talking about how big this space is when you stand here. You can see how tall the wall is. I'm about 5'5", so it's a pretty deep cellar. We have a lot of the top part of the cellar intact, and it has to be one of the largest features that we've ever worked on in James Fort. It's not only big as far as the cellar dimensions, but also at a 5x5 square well that we're seeing the soil stain for just below my feet, and it's pretty impressive. One of the features we've been seeing cut into the floor level is we've seen these kind of purplish or grayish soil stains that are really loose fill for what we think are where wooden beams or boards once were placed. It may be related to stairs, and what's neat about this one is it's about 8 inches wide and 4.5 feet long, including this little slot that was dug into the south wall of the cellar to maybe secure this beam. Then 6 feet from this to the west, there's another one of these slots, and just at the same distance from this slot is a post hole. So this post hole right here cuts right through the well fill, telling us that this post and probably these beams that we're seeing in this location over the well were placed here after the well was backfilled, which means there's no doubt that the cellar continued to be in use after the well was spoiled and abandoned. On the north side of the cellar, Don Warmke and Caitlin Fitzgerald have been scraping down to find the actual subsoil just underneath that working surface. And as they've come across, they've seen some soil staining that looks like where water has been coming down into the cellar, probably while it was in use, and has left these channels of erosion coming down from the north side. So there's a couple of neat things that were found along the floor. Don Warmke found what looks to be a shot mold along the floor there, and we've seen a couple other pieces of iron nails, very little besides animal bone food remains that have been tossed away into the working surface. But we've gotten the cellar floor down to the level that it originally was dug to on this north side. There's a couple of cool things besides the shot mold that have come out. This is a book clasp, and you can see the hinge along the side. Our conservators will be able to clean this up and take a better look at it, see if it's decorated. But this would have been the piece on the end of the book to kind of hold it in place, because it is made out of a parchment that tends to swell, and so these clasps would have held the end of the book to kind of hold it in place there. So that's a neat object. And then also scraped along the floor are pieces of a glass goblet, and we've seen some other pieces of this come out, not very many, but that's another piece of a goblet. So some really fancy things have come out on the floor, giving us an idea of what the cellar was used for, and by the next update we should have started the well and also the field school, so stay tuned.